Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Q2 and H1 FY22 results conference call of GTPL Hathway, hosted by Emkay Global Financial Services. We have with us today Mr. Anirudh Singh Jadeja, Promoter and Managing Director, Mr. Rajan Gupta, Chairman and Non-Executive Director, Mr. Piyush Pankaj, Business Head, CATV and Chief Strategy Officer, and Mr. Anil Bothra, Chief Financial Officer. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions at the end of today's presentation. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Naval Seth from Emkay Global Financial Services. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome the management and thank them for this opportunity. I shall now hand over the call to the management for their opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Navalji. Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you to the conference call of GTPL Hathway Limited to discuss the financial and operational performance of Q2 and H1 2022. We continue to deliver on key KPIs during H1 FY 2022. The highlights of H1 FY 2022 was robust subscriber addition and subscription revenue for our broadband business. The company added 1 lakh net broadband subscriber in H1 FY 2022, taking the total broadband subscriber to 7,35,000 during H1 FY 2022. The GTPL's active CATV subscriber base grew by 3% YOY basis. The company's balance sheet remains strong as we are net debt-free company with the impressive ROCE and ROE of 33% and 20% respectively on an annualized basis. With the economy getting back to normalcy led by aggressive vaccination drive, GTPL is geared to strengthen its presence in the existing and new market. With that, I hand over to Piyush Pankaj, who can take you through the business and financial aspect of the company. Piyush.
Thank you, Mr. Jadeja. Good evening, everyone. As you are aware, GTPL Hathway is one of the few consistently profit-making cable TV and broadband company in India. In the last 5 years, our CATV paying subscriber base has grown sharply by 2x to 7.35 million. Our broadband subscriber base has grown by 3.6x to around 0.7 million. We are number one private wireline broadband player in Gujarat. We have been consistently generating free cash flow and achieved net debt-free status in FY21. GTPL has consistently rewarded its shareholders with regular dividends. Additionally, I am happy to share with you that GTPL Hathway Limited has been accredited with the prestigious ISO certification for both CATV and broadband business. We have appointed Deloitte as statutory auditors for GTPL Broadband, a 100% subsidiary of listed entity. Let me now share the performance highlights for H1 FY22. In the CATV segment, our active subscribers stood at 8.05 million as on September 30, 2021. GTPL's digital CATV services reach 1,000 plus towns spread across 15 states in India. The company is expanding aggressively in Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, and the Northeast states. Of the 300 million plus households in India, only 210 million households, that is translating to 70% penetration, are connected with TV services. The CATV industry offers an underlying growth opportunity for an organized and seasoned player like GTPL Hathway. Our CATV business expansion will gain momentum with organic and inorganic growth in the coming quarters. The Indian wireline broadband sector is a sunrise industry with huge untapped growth potential. It accounts for meager 6% penetration of the total households in India. Additionally, the profile of high-speed unlimited data package offers an opportunity to connect homes with wireline broadband services. In the broadband segment, we added 330,000 new home pass in H1 FY22 and taking the total home pass as on September 30, 2021 to 4.20 million. During the quarter, GTPL added 45,000 net broadband subscribers, taking the total net broadband subscribers as on September 30, 2021 to 7,35,000. The broadband ARPU for H1 FY22 grew by 22% YOY to rupees 440 per month. GTPL looks forward to expanding its broadband business by leveraging its existing base of 10+ million CATV subscribers and attracting new broadband subscribers through business partners. Let us now move to our financial performance. On our consolidated business excluding EPC contract, during Q2 FY22, GTPL's consolidated revenue grown by 18% YOY to rupees 5,992 million. The CATV subscription revenue stood at rupees 2,715 million. The broadband revenue for the quarter surged by 50% YOY to rupees 1,006 million, led by healthy growth in subscriber base. On our consolidated business, including EPC contract, during Q2 FY22, GTPL's consolidated revenue grew by 4% YOY to rupees 6,052 million. EBITDA for the quarter increased by 4% YOY to rupees 1,448 million with a margin of 23.9%. PAT for the quarter stood at 433 million. Our EPC contract during Q2 FY22 reported the revenue, EBITDA and profit before tax of rupees 61 million, rupees 4 million and rupees 4 million respectively. On our standalone business, excluding EPC contract during Q2 FY22, the company's revenue grew by 11% YOY to rupees 3,757 million. The company reported EBITDA of rupees 794 million with an EBITDA margin of 21.1%. On our standalone business, including EPC contract, during Q2 FY22, the company's revenue stood at rupees 3,818 million. EBITDA during the quarter stood at rupees 798 million with an EBITDA margin of 20.9%. PAT during the quarter stood at rupees 332 million. This is all from my side. Thank you everyone for your attention. We can now begin with the questions and answer session.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Reha Mehta from Equitas Investment. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. This is Pratiksha here. So, my first question actually is for cable TV division. I think if you look at broadly last 2 years, our digital paying subscribers have remained, pretty much range bound 7.25, 7.5 million subscribers. So how do we look at, growth in this segment and what is the breakup of the incremental subscribers this time? How much of it would be commercial and how much of it would be retail?
Thanks, Pratiksha. Last 1.5 years, if I talk about, because of, as you know, because of COVID-19, as the ground situation was not very healthy for all the operators, for the whole industry, and as commercial subscribers were opting out of the cable for these services, they are coming back, going out. That's continuously that is happening, and that's why we are adding in the home segment. But because of the commercial, you will see that the numbers are still flat in last 1.5 years. You can say from March 20 to till date, the numbers are almost flat on that basis. We are hopeful that as the situation has improved now, next 2 quarters is going to be good for FY22, and we look forward that the projections which we are giving, that we are going to grow as we were growing before the pandemic. We are going to attain that situation again. This time we have added around net subscribers 50K. More subscriber base has come into the fold. That is mainly after August 15, when the market has started opening up, and this is all last 40 days that we got around 50K subscriber base back. Some corporate subscribers are coming back, the trends which we are seeing it, and we are hopeful that as the festival season is going on and the hotels are opening, all the shops are getting open, people are flocking, traveling, everything is happening, and we are seeing that corporate subscribers are coming back into the fold back.
So I think, sir, next milestone that we had set for ourselves was about 8 million subscribers. How much time do we think, given that, like, what is our internal timeline that we might be able to achieve that?
We are looking forward that will be achieved by second quarter of next year. Right now, FY23, as we lost the first H1 in that, we wanted to do that until March 22, but we lost first 6 months, and we have just grown by 50K on that. So we are looking forward that in the next 1 year time, we are going to cross 8 million.
Okay. And sir, my next question is on the broadband front. So, how many home passes do we target to add this year, and what is our milestones that we set for ourselves here on home pass front?
This H1 we have made around 330K new home passes, and we are hopeful that we are going to continue as we were doing earlier before the pandemic. And Anand sir, you want to highlight this?
So we have mentioned in earlier calls as well. Last 2 years, because of the fiber project which GTPL has taken, there's a huge amount of fiber which has been rolled all across Gujarat. Okay, while currently it's being used for BharatNet project, but the fiber is available, and we have access to that. Okay, so which essentially means we have pretty much access to every taluk level town in Gujarat. Okay.
Right.
And of course, last 6 months, as Piyush rightly mentioned, the home pass was limited because of ground situation, because of pandemic. Now with pandemic being over and ground access as well as fiber being available, okay, and GTPL is still able to, at a very kind of economical product, around 400-450 rupee ARPU, able to deliver 40% plus EBITDA in broadband. It makes a lot of sense for us to take this offering even to lower level towns and obviously within metros as well as keep it expanding. So all the efforts are happening to expand even home pass aggressively as we are able to get returns also.
Okay. And sir, if you could just give the breakup of receivable segment wise, like how much of our current receivables would be for from broadcasters and how much for EPC?
Total receivables is 3,226 on that. Carriage is around 167 crores out of 322 crores, and EPC project is around 99 crores, and rest are others, which is there around 46 crores. The total is 322 crores.
Okay. And the last question, if you could give the capex for, sorry, you were saying something?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Please. Yeah.
No, capex for this quarter, segment-wise capex for this quarter, and the guidance if you want to change the full year guidance for capex.
Yeah. So capex, which we did in H1, is total is 162 crores we did. As I have given that in quarter 1, we have did around 82 crores. This quarter we did around 80 crores. Out of 80 crores, around 35 crores is in the CATV, and rest around 45 crores is in broadband.
And sir, full year target would be?
Full year target, we are still maintaining that it is going to be somewhere close to 400 crores.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dixit Doshi from Whitestone Financial Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, most of my questions are answered. Just can you just repeat the receivable numbers? I listened. Carriage was 167 crore and EPC is around 100 crores. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. EPC is 98 crores and yes, carriage is 167 crores.
And so
Carriage and placement and market.
So what comprise of the other segment?
Others is O&M is there, plus others vendors are there. Others are like advertisements, small advertisements are there, and all comprises of others revenues.
Okay, nothing from MSO, right? It's 100% prepaid, right?
Yeah.
It's 100% prepaid.
Okay. And in EPC project, how much more revenue we need is going to come, or it's complete and now only O&M will come?
So yes, the EPC project is almost completed. So I don't think the EPC project, but yes, O&M will continue as it is.
And O&M will be yearly how much?
O&M is yearly close to around 57 crores.
57 crore yearly. Okay. And can you just elaborate slightly on our new set-top box which we were planning to launch?
You're talking about hybrid box?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hybrid box has already, we did the soft launch, and around 1,500 boxes are in the market where all type of samplings are happening on the packages also, on the technical side also, everything. We are planning to do the hard launch somewhere by October end or November start. So that's the plan right now. Current plan is this. We already did the soft.
So majorly this festival Dhamaka will going to launch this.
Sorry?
This festival Dhamaka.
Means
Okay.
around Diwali.
Okay. And just last question from my side. Pre-COVID, we used to mention that once everything will be settled, we might look at increasing our share from the MSO. So is there any thought process over there, or we are still maintaining that 120 rupees ARPU?
No, that thought process is there. Yes, 100%.
So will be looking to increase, or maybe it's still a bit far?
No, we are looking to increase, but we are waiting for this quarter. Most probably by quarter 4, the price changes will happen.
Okay, and let's say over next 2-3 years, whenever we can, take our share to a respectable level, which the competitors do, till what level it can go up from 120 rupees?
Up to
Not in short term, but let's say over 2-3 years.
Yeah, it will be somewhere around, jump by around 25%.
Okay, 25%. Okay, that's it from my side. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Harsh Sanwar from Centrum PMS. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, you in earlier participant asked about BharatNet project, you said that you still have access to it. So sir, if you could briefly talk a bit more about such projects, what kind of advantage these projects give you, and are there any such projects more in pipeline where you're looking to bid?
So about BharatNet, basically, majorly this project is it's called a GFGNL under 100% ownership with BBNL network. So पूरे गुजरात में करीबन phase 1 and phase 2 all put together close to around 8,000 gram panchayats which are already connected, and close to around 34,000 kilometer fiber is already laid. So best part ये रहेगा कि जितना भी ग्राम पंचायत में जितने भी फाइबर से उसको केबल टीवी साइट और ब्रॉडबैंड साइट मोनेटाइजेशन का बेनिफिट जीटीपीएल जैसे प्लेयर को मिलेगा. और as you talking about the other project, it's under pipeline. Lot of project is there, but we are evaluating. Whenever time will come, we'll let you know.
And sir, in this other projects which we are in pipeline and where we are looking to bid, so who can be our competitors there, main competitors?
You can say a lot of ITI, L&Ts and all, Tatas and all different players with different state.
Okay. So as I understand, these projects are very important for our penetration into a state and establishing our position. So
Yes.
What kind of margins do we target when we look at such projects? Or margins are not very important and getting that position is?
In GFGNL, as we have given in our financials also, so the margin was 14% there, and for which 7% was coming in our books, 7% we are giving to our partner. So those are the margin on which we have to play around on that.
Okay, sir. Sir, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shivam Saxena from ICICI Bank. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to understand what would be the ARPU trajectory going forward. Are you seeing any upgrades on the existing recharge plans or any further? What is the guidance for the ARPU next year or coming quarter?
For what, cable TV or broadband?
For broadband. Both, or you can specify both. It will be helpful.
Rajan, आप go ahead करिए.
No, broadband ARPUs are broadly stable. Frankly, that is the design. Okay, so we have been maintaining that. This whole equation is working very fine for us. Like many of you speak about competition, which is where we have been saying, this whole ARPU of between 400 to 500 and average around 450. Okay, that's essentially the ARPU we have decided for ourselves for near future. Okay, because even with this kind of ARPU, you have seen the EBITDA margins, they're quite good, more than 40%. So, so currently we are into that whole space of acquiring more and more consumer, going deeper into our home pass penetration. And so considering that ARPUs for broadband will remain broadly stable, okay, of course we have the future with us in terms of upgrading these consumers to, higher speed packages, etc. Okay, once they are there with us, and once their needs are also evolving over a period of time. But from next couple of quarters perspective, the broadband ARPUs will remain fairly stable. Anubhai, over to you for cable, please.
Cable is also same, Rajan, as linear TV.
Cable, as we said earlier, that we are looking forward to increase our margins, and we will do that in somewhere in quarter 4.
And any update on the new tariff order?
New tariff order, yes, it's already done. Regulations, लोगों ने ब्रॉडकास्टर ने अपने यो डिक्लेयर कर दिए हैं. सो एज वी आर इवोल्यूटिंग अपडेट में तो जैसे जो जिस तरीके से NTO 1 ने सेटअप लिया हुआ है और DPO और ओवरऑल इंडस्ट्री को जो जिस तरीके से आगे बूस्ट अप मिला है, आई एम श्योर 2 साल के NTO 1 का जो भी एक्सपीरियंस और जो लर्निंग रहा है उसी को NTO 2 में कल्टीवेट करके आई एम अज्यूमिंग ये सेम इस फॉर्मेट में ही आगे बढ़ेगा. But still we are evaluating with a lot of other broadcasters price and और RIO अपलोड करना बाकी है, काफ़ी चीज़ है. तो एग्जैक्टली Q3 या Q4 में क्या सेपअप होता है वो पता चलेगा. अभी काफ़ी चीज़ रेगुलेटरी के पास ऑप्शंस है जिसके कंसल्टेशंस लेके आने वाले हैं बेस्ड ऑन स्पेशली फॉर NTO 2. तो वो भी प्रोसेस अभी चलता रहेगा 1-2 महीना. सो आई एम श्योर 1-2 क्वार्टर में उसकी पूरी क्लैरिटी आ जाएगी.
But has it been implemented?
नहीं, अभी इम्प्लीमेंट होने जाएगा दिसंबर क्लोज, आई थिंक दिसंबर के आसपास इम्प्लीमेंट
December or January.
Okay. So it is okay from the court, right? So it is no more subsidized, right?
No, मैटर इज सब्जुडाइज. कोर्ट ने अभी ब्रॉडकास्टर्स को कोई इंटरिम रिलीफ नहीं दिया है. तो टेक्निकली यस, उन्होंने ब्रॉडकास्टर ने उसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया है, बट मैटर स्टिल सब्जुडाइज.
So, as per my understanding, the fee would reduce, the channel fee would reduce. So, it will impact your margins also. So your share will also go down.
We have to wait and see.
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ fees is not reduced or anything, but still we have to wait because अभी काफी ब्रॉडकास्टर ने अपने प्राइस अपलोड नहीं किए हैं. काफी रेगुलेशन साइड से भी काफी भी इसको रिलेटेड कंसल्टेशंस आना बाकी है. स्टिल अंडर प्रोसेस. अभी DPOs के प्राइस डिक्लेयर करना बाकी है, छोटे और स्मॉल ब्रॉडकास्टर्स के प्राइस अपलोड करना बाकी है. तो यू विल हैव टू वेट अनदर.
But the revision will be on the downward side only, na? As per the NTO 2, I think.
नहीं, वो जैसे जो ऐसे आप अगर आप देखा जाए तो उसको आप इस तरीके से देखिए कि जो NTO जब 1 आया था और जो DPO को पहले जो फॉर्मूला में DPO को और ओवरऑल इंडस्ट्री को बूस्टअप मिला है, आई एम श्योर सेम फॉर्मूला सेम तरीके से ही NTO 2 से भी इस इंडस्ट्री को बूस्टअप मिलेगा.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Anil from Centrum Wealth. Please go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen. First of all, congratulations on a great set of numbers. I had a few questions. On a broader basis, how does cable TV get impacted due to OTT? Could it be that the slowdown that we are seeing is due to the onslaught of OTT? If you can sort of throw some light, that is it only due to the closure of hotels and commercial establishments due to COVID which is causing, or it could be due to OTT? That is part 1 of my question. I have a part 2, which is now there is this Airtel is also coming out with a satellite broadband program, and Elon Musk, I mean that whatever Starlink is also coming. And apart from that, Jio is there, and a lot of other people are entering wireline broadband aggressively. So how does GTPL stand in comparison with all these different kind of competitors? These are big people with a lot of strong balance sheets. So what has been your experience and what is your outlook? So one question is on cable, other question is on wireline broadband.
Yeah, so OTT impact on cable side, yes, you can see metros and all, you can see 2 to 3% impact is happening on that on 100%. Mainly it is because of the ground and all what we have seen till date, that due to pandemic and all, corporate subscribers are not there. But yes, OTT is there, which is going to be on the higher segment side. But yeah, we are countering it with our hybrid boxes and bringing the OTT platforms to our platforms also. So all those efforts are going on to counter that. Till date, we have not seen any major impact because of OTT and others. Rajan sir, you can highlight on the CATV side also and wireline satellite side, sir.
Yes, Piyush, I will take it forward from here. So let's divide the question in 2 parts. First is OTT, second broadband. Okay, OTT is very easy to understand. We have to relate it to any other consumer upgradation which is happening through any other category. Okay, for sake of simplicity, let's talk about pizza as a category. Okay, we have seen in metros, various metros, and now even in mini metros, a lot of people upgrading from pizzas to, say, gourmet pizzas. Okay, and parallelly, the people who are not eating pizzas are eating pizzas, and people who are not eating anything, they are eating something now. So that's the whole consumer pyramid on which India growth story, India consumer growth story, India consumption story is getting built up. Okay. So this whole OTT as a phenomena has been there for some time. So as Piyush mentioned, certain percentage of people do upgrade to OTT, which is the case with the many other industries as I just mentioned. Okay, but that gets compensated by growth at the bottom of the pyramid. Okay, there's a FICCI report also which is available on whole pay TV sector, which can be read by all investors. That clearly gives a lot of data in terms of what kind of growth is happening at the bottom of the pyramid, how a lot of new users are coming with the growth of TV industry, pay TV industry, okay, and growth of rural income, etc., etc. Okay, but what we have observed is during pandemic time, the growth at the bottom of the pyramid has slowed down. Okay, while the whatever marginal migration to OTT is there, that continues. Okay, parallelly, of course, the whole commercial point which you spoke about, that's of course valid, that a lot of commercial establishments, a lot of paying guest accommodations, hotels, hospitals, a lot of such establishments, they kind of didn't renew their TV services. So we are hopeful with the pandemic, as we come out of pandemic and overall economy is taking the right shape, we are hopeful that bottom of pyramid growth story will start again, which was the case till around 6 to 8 quarters back, okay, which will more than compensate for our migration to OTT, whatever little is happening. And of course, parallelly, the management has to execute their market share plans, for which a lot of work is happening. Okay. Now we move to broadband. Broadband, I answered you the last time. I'll probably repeat the same answer only in the last quarter conference call. Let's talk about two players. One, you spoke about wireline broadband, and second, satellite broadband. Now, satellite broadband is very easy. Last time I spoke at length, in fact, about it. Okay. World over, our experience has been satellite broadband is more used for areas where wireline is not possible or wireline is not viable. Okay. So essentially, if you have for example, just as a placeholder, you have a kind of farmhouse, say in 100 kilometers from Bombay, where there is no wireline facility because not viable for any wireline players to kind of take their fiber there because there are not too many farmhouses in that area. Okay. In that place, satellite broadband typically has been used quite successfully in US and some other developed countries. Okay. Essentially, the one-time cost of establishing the signal is quite high. Consumer has to pay for consumer premises equipment, which are in thousands of dollars. Okay, and after that there are monthly charges which are significantly higher than the wireline broadband ARPU. Okay, so satellite broadband is essentially for areas where, in general, reach of wireline broadband is not very feasible. Okay, with the kind of consumption which is happening on wireline broadband in India, specifically GTPL, which is now greater than 200 GB per consumer per month, and with the kind of ARPUs, which is 400 to 450 rupees ARPU, okay, absolutely there's no way any satellite broadband has any kind of opportunity to meet that. But essentially, we will see in India also many more players will enter in satellite broadband. But as I rightly mentioned, from the perspective of reaching those areas which cannot be reached by wireline broadband. Second point, competition within wireline broadband. Okay. Gujarat, we have spoken many times. Gujarat, GTPL has the best understanding of how market works on the ground. They have the access to all the home pass because of dominant share in the cable TV industry. Okay, and now competition has been there for some time. I mean, there's no new competition coming. Whatever the existing competition is there, they have been aggressive for quite some time now. I mean, I think last 3 years, this industry has seen one of the highest level of competition, because of which obviously industry also has grown, specifically in non-metros. Okay, and in spite of that, this has been the best experience for GTPL. The experience has been as more players have come and worked on the market. Okay, that has helped us the industry growth. That help us consumer realize that there is a case for wireline broadband, which is where GTPL has seen this growth. And GTPL ARPU versus speed GB value equation for consumer, that remains the best in the industry. Nobody today is offering this kind of product at a value of 400 rupees or 450 rupees or 500 rupees. Okay, if you can compare, I mean, offline, you guys can take details from Piyush. He can share with you. Okay, but approximately GTPL speed and GB equation is twice or double as compared to any other nearest competition. Okay, so I think management is quite confident of keeping this growth trajectory on broadband.
Okay, thank you. Can I put in a follow-on question, please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so far you were only in Gujarat, as far as wireline broadband is concerned. Now these hybrid boxes are coming out, and you will be able to offer all over the country, wherever your cable operations are there, the hybrid box can go over there. So can you offer any comments as to what would be the price value equation? Because this one box will be giving you both cable as well as broadband. So as a combo product, what is the price value offering that you have compared to the competition? Are you, how cheap are you? That is one part. And second, once you roll this out, what kind of margin changes can one expect at the company as a whole? Two parts. There were two questions that I asked.
No, we understand. So there seems to be some lack of understanding of the product, which we keep on talking about it. This whole hybrid box. First thing to clarify: this doesn't give any broadband. Okay? In fact, it uses broadband. Okay, so whether we lock it with GTPL broadband or not, that's a management decision, which I'm sure they'll take it over a period of time. Okay, so the product is not giving any broadband. Okay, it's a set-top box which can take Wi-Fi input, technically from any service provider, but for us it's possible to lock it to GTPL Hathway. Okay, so it doesn't give any broadband. It's a normal cable TV set-top which also has ability to give OTT by taking Wi-Fi input from any broadband service provider. Okay, and based on the business strategy for a particular state, GTPL Hathway can take a call whether to lock it to GTPL broadband or not. Okay. Now, in terms of GTPL broadband, we clarified earlier also, it has been a management decision by choice that next few quarters, next 3-4 quarters, or even little more, will focus primarily on Gujarat, as we have a huge amount of home passes still are available, and we would like to take a pole position in Gujarat itself. Okay, because that's where a lot of potential is still available. Okay, and that's where we are a dominant leader in cable. Okay, so while technically, we can obviously go to many other states, but I think the required we have to balance out in terms of investment, return on investment, and areas where we feel we can take a pole position. So next 3-4 quarters will focus on Gujarat only in terms of taking a pole position there. And I already clarified your answer to the box.
The last part regarding margin, if you could elaborate.
Yeah, Anil, for margin and pricing on the boxes, I will take you one-to-one. As I said that we have just did the soft launch. Hard launch is going to be around Diwali. So wait for that, or we can have one-to-one on that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants: to ask a question, please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Shivam Saxena from ICICI Bank. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my question again. I just want to understand how much is the competition between broadband and cable TV segments? Are not these two segments competing with each other in the metro, especially in these metro areas?
See, the competition is because cable TV is more of the content and broadband is more of connectivity. So the competition is not between broadband and cable TV. The competition can be on between entertainment to entertainment, can be on connectivity to connectivity. So if you talk about that you are getting OTT through broadband and that is the competition with the cable, that's a different thing. But there is no competition between broadband.
Yeah, I'm saying that only. Yeah.
That's we have already given that that Rajan has explained that in the higher pyramids it is So that's I think we have answered that.
But how are you seeing your subscribers? So basically, are the cable TV subscribers giving up their connection if they are getting good broadband? What is your customer profile?
We consider ourselves as a pipe. As we said that through Hybrid Box, we are also introducing OTT. And in the future, we are going to introduce OTT as a distribution also. So we consider it ourselves as a pipe. We are right now giving the broadcasting channels as a and taking it to the houses. We will take it any services means the OTT services also to the houses. So we look ourselves strategically as a pipe, which is reaching to the customer house as a carrier.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Gautami Desai from Chanakya Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is a broader question, maybe for Anubhai. Anubhai, by doing this hybrid box, aren't we encouraging cord cutting? By what I mean to say is that like Piyush just said, that for OTT, we are just a pipe, right? Yeah, I agree that you are a pipe, but for OTT, we are not paid. Whereas for cable TV, we have a sizable cable TV population for which we are paid. So I just want to understand that, and when I'm saying that are we encouraging cord cutting by hybrid, what I mean is that there could be people like, who are, kind of lazy or ignorant or something, and they're just watching cable TV because it's there. But once they have hybrid and they learn to see OTT, is there any, does cable TV provide, anything different from OTT where we feel that, no, even if the customer has OTT, he will go for cable TV? Is there anything special cable TV?
Piyush, I will take this one and then Anubhai can add to that. Hello.
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 Piyush, am I audible?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So I will take it and then Anubhai can add to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Gautami, first some technical clarification. The hybrid box, as I mentioned, the controls are in hand of GTPL Hathway Limited or any other service provider for that matter. Okay. So the way box typically is configured, the box will anyway not work if the cable connection is not active. The world over itself, the cable hybrid boxes, whichever cable service provider has, deployed these boxes. Of course, the first priority is, cable TV. So boxes can be configured and they are already configured in such a way that if the cable service is not active, the box anyway will not work. Okay. And this whole debate of OTT versus cable TV, look, let's understand first, consumer needs are evolving. And that is not something which I think is a healthy to for us to intervene. Consumer needs are evolving and they will evolve in a particular way. So earlier consumer needs were limited to as a family watching TV together. Now consumer needs are really, kind of, they have multiple needs. There are times people want to watch OTT on their single screen device. There are times people want to enjoy, Bella Ciao sitting there in the living room with their near and dear. There are times they want to enjoy live cricket TV, without any interruption, without the app kind of collapsing on a live TV, without any fear of app actually collapsing or anything like that. So consumer needs are now quite kind of different. It's not only one need, they have multiple needs. An idea of hybrid box always has been to ensure that we, GTPL Hathway as a company, we have foot in the door in whichever segment consumer needs are there. Okay. So through the single box, we can offer consumers large screen experience on OTT, even if they don't have smart TV. Okay. Even if smart TV is there, smart TV doesn't offer all the apps. Okay. Parallelly, by having this box there, we know much more about consumer viewing habits because the kind of analytics we have on hybrid boxes, much better. Okay. We have a broadband opportunity once that box is there because we know which broadband player is there on that box if we allow other broadband players. So we have ability to cross-sell our GTPL Hathway broadband. Okay. And we of course get a pie of the OTT revenue as well. Okay. Because we can't really change consumer needs. But parallelly, making sure the box works only if the cable has been recharged. Okay. That obviously control is in our hand. Anubhai, feel free to add. I just thought some technical points I at least mentioned.
Agree, Rajan. So basically this hybrid box is non-smart TV will convert into the smart TV. और जैसे आपने बताया कि आज भी लोग जो स्मार्ट टीवी बाय आउट नए कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे भी प्री इंटीग्रेटेड ओटीटी एप्लीकेशंस लिमिटेड होती है. यहाँ पे हमें जितने भी मार्केट में वेदर इट इज ए नेशनल लेवल, इंटरनेशनल लेवल और रीजनल लेवल जितनी भी ओटीटी एप्लीकेशंस है वो सारी प्री इंटीग्रेटेड हम उनके पुराने जितने भी टीवी मॉडल है वेदर इट इज अ ब्लैक एंड वाइट, वेदर इट इज एनी एसआरटी टीवी टेलीविजन हो या नॉन स्मार्ट टेलीविजन हो, वो सब टेलीविजन में वो केबल के साथ साथ ओटीटी भी देख पाएंगे. यस, मैंडेटरी केबल रहेगा, केबल के बिना ओटीटी नहीं मिलेगी उनको. और जितने भी ओटीटी प्रोवाइडर्स है आज मार्केट में हम कहीं ना कहीं उनके साथ भी रेवेन्यू शेयरिंग मॉडल के हिसाब से अंडरस्टैंडिंग कर रहे हैं. तो उस रेवेन्यू शेयरिंग में से डीपीओ को प्लस केबल ऑपरेटर को भी उसका बेनिफिट मिलेगा. और बाय डिफॉल्ट ये जितने भी ओटीटी प्लेयर्स है जो भी अगर जीटीपीएल हाइब्रिड बॉक्सेस से ओटीटी देख रहे हैं तो मैंडेटरी वहां पे केबल टीवी मैंडेटरी रहेगा. तो जो कहीं ना कहीं इनडायरेक्ट जो डेंट लगने वाला है वो भी रुक जाएगा.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much, Rajan bhai, Anu bhai.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankur Periwal from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So, to start with, first question on the broadband side. Now, your presentation does mention 4.2 million home pass and roughly 750,000 odd, active subscribers. Can you help us understand how has this been broken up in terms of, our existing subscriber base, existing cable subscriber base across, Gujarat, Maharashtra, West Bengal, etc. and Uttar Pradesh, wherein, we are probably offering only broadband and no cable there?
Yeah, Ankur. So, out of 735,000 subscribers, around 95%, 93 point something percentage is in the Gujarat. So we are mainly focused in Gujarat right now and increasing our sub base on that. Apart from that, we have 6 cities where we are operating: Pune, Nagpur, Jaipur, Varanasi, Patna, and Hyderabad. But we are growing there, but the focus is mainly in Gujarat right now.
Fair enough. And of this, let's say 90% of this 700,000, so let's say rounding off numbers at 0.7 million subscribers, how many of these will be the combo offers which we will be giving, which is basically we are offering cable as well as broadband to the last mile consumer?
So अभी कॉम्बो ऑफर अब हम जाके रोल आउट करने जा रहे हैं. अभी तक तो हम ब्रॉडबैंड अलग से ब्रॉडबैंड चल रहा था, बेसिकली काफी इश्यूज जो AGR रिलेटेड थे वो सब काफी सॉर्ट आउट हो चुके हैं. तो नाउ वी आर गोइंग फॉरवर्ड कंप्लीटली, वेदर इट इज अ ब्रॉडबैंड, OTT और केबल टीवी, all put together, we'll also launch this combo offer.
So, sir, will it be right to say that out of, let's say, 7.5 million paying subscribers, and maybe a large part of these subscribers coming out of Gujarat, that will be still an incremental opportunity for you on the broadband side to ramp up?
Yes, in Gujarat, yes.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so sir, a second question, I'm referring to your slide number 27, which is basically the P&L breakup that, we have shared in terms of, different segments. So, not looking at Q-on-Q numbers, but, largely speaking, carriage will be more or less, flowing down to EBITDA. And, in earlier comment, Rajan did mention, broadband business being a 40% EBITDA margin there. So if I do a backward math out of 550 crore EBITDA, is it the case that X of carriage or placement, the core cable business is EBITDA negative right now at 120 rupee per month ARPU net to us?
Ankur, in last call also, whenever we have to calculate the gross margin on cable TV, we have to consider subscription CATV, pay channel cost, and your marketing, which is one is you are paying to the broadcaster, one you are getting from the broadcaster, has to be netted out. So that's where you have to see the business after netting out pay channel cost and placement revenue.
Okay, so what you're suggesting is out of, let's say, 550 crore minus maybe 110 odd crores of EBITDA from broadband, one should look at that as a cable business on the balance, 2150 minus the 600 crores, 280 crores of broadband business.
Yes, so अगर आप content cost minus marketing placement और ये सब net off करेंगे, तो derived content cost will be coming around 51 or 52 rupees against 130 rupees cable TV ARPU.
Yes,
sure. And sir, when we were talking of 20-25% increase in ARPU, which is let's say 120 going to maybe a 150-160 run rate, the absolute EBITDA on or let's say gross profit on a per subscriber basis, do you see that number increasing, or probably large amount of this delta will also be resulting in a higher content cost?
Yeah, this is going to be accretive to EBITDA, directly accretive to EBITDA. Any increase in ARPU.
Okay, fair enough, sir. That's it from my side. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, to ask a question, please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Miten Lathia from Fractal Capital. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. If you look at the pricing that has been announced by most of the broadcasters, it appears that they are sort of pulling out their flagships out of the bouquet and wanting to price it separately. With this sort of pricing, how do we look at our ability to be able to maintain our packs the way they are today, and what should be the implication for the gross margin that we enjoy?
So मितेन जी, एक्चुअली आप प्राइसिंग का डिस्कशन जो NTO 2 के बारे में आप बता रहे हैं ना? हाँ, सो अभी काफी और ब्रॉडकास्टर्स ने प्राइस डिक्लेयर करना बाकी है. पास्ट में भी हमने पहले बोला हुआ था कि जो NTO 2 में भी उसी फॉर्मूला में, ये NTO 1 के टाइम पे कि प्राइसिंग का जो डिस्कशन आया था उस टाइम पे भी यही डिस्कशन हुआ था कि डाउन द लाइन जो NTO 1 ने ओवरऑल इंडस्ट्री को कहीं ना कहीं आरपू से लेके DPO मार्जिन से लेके जो बेनिफिट किया हुआ है, आई एम श्योर NTO 2 भी उसी, क्योंकि अभी 2 साल का NTO 1 का ओवरऑल इंडस्ट्री ने काफी एक्सपीरियंस लिया हुआ है, तो आई एम श्योर पास्ट के सारे एक्सपीरियंस को लोगे आगे जाके कहीं ना कहीं ओवरऑल इंडस्ट्री को ये बेनिफिट ही करेगा.
Does
Hello?
this answers your question,
Yeah,
Mr.
Mithun.
Mithun?
No. I had just one clarification that I was seeking. Should we expect that the customer will end up paying more even after NTO 2?
I don't think उतना राजन आपके हिसाब से मुझे तो नहीं लग रहा है कस्टमर का भी जो है Mithun, as you know, of course you understand, and Anubhai also saying, so there are a lot of moving parts over next 60 to 90 days, right, for this implementation. Okay, and as an MSO service provider, of course, our task is to make sure as smooth a rollout as possible, both with the consumer and trade. And we are going to take help of all broadcasters and all stakeholders, and of course, all the governing bodies and regulatory bodies, etc. Okay. So there are a lot of moving parts. The endeavor is to make sure implementation should be very smooth, and there shouldn't be any shock for any of the stakeholders in system. And we're going to seek support of as I mentioned earlier, all other stakeholders who are there with us, so that its implementation is smooth. And I think everybody wants same. And as and when we have more specific plan, of course we'll come back to all of you and update.
Great. That's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thanks everyone for joining the GTPL Q2 FY22 earning calls. We look forward next quarter to talk to you for Q3 results FY22. Thanks a lot. Be safe, be healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Emkay Global Financial Services, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.